This story is about a strange kind of sand that pulls people, or anything else, into itself and kills them. But what is so special about this sand, and what is the secret behind it? Let's find out. The story begins on a beautiful and sunny beach by the ocean. A group of friends, along with some of their classmates, are celebrating the end of college with a huge party. Loud music is playing everywhere, and everyone is having a great time. Suddenly, two boys find a very strange and large object near the ocean waves. The group laughs at it and starts making jokes about it. While fooling around, they accidentally crack open the egg-shaped object a little. They have no idea what it really is. After partying all night, everyone gets tired and falls asleep in different places on the beach. The next morning, people begin waking up one by one. Among them is a girl named Marcia. She is sleeping on a table. When she wakes up, she starts feeling very sick. She begins vomiting, and everyone assumes it is because she drank too much alcohol the night before. But Marcia feels that something is seriously wrong. Meanwhile, another girl named Kaylee is sitting on the sand and watching a bird. The bird is sitting peacefully, but suddenly the sand swallows it whole. Kaylee is shocked. She cannot believe what she just saw. She quickly shouts to Marcia, "Don't put your foot on the sand. It's dangerous." But before Marcia can react, she steps onto the sand. Immediately, her foot starts sinking into it. She tries desperately to pull it out, but while struggling, one of her hands touches the sand too. Now she becomes terrified and starts screaming for help. Her friends watch in horror. They want to help, but something very strange is happening with the sand. Nobody understands what they should do. Seeing Marcia in danger, one of her friends jumps out of a car to save her. Everyone tells him to stop, but he ignores them. The moment he steps onto the sand, he falls face first. His body sticks to the sand instantly. He struggles to free himself, but it only gets worse. His skin begins sticking to the sand. As a result, his entire body becomes badly injured. His friends quickly try to start the car so they can pull him to safety, but the car refuses to start. Then another friend throws him a rope. Unfortunately, he is no longer in any condition to grab it. Within moments, his entire body is swallowed by the sand. The rest of the group can do nothing except watch helplessly. Now everyone is terrified. They all agree that they must escape from this place as soon as possible. A boy named Jonah, who is sitting in the driver's seat, tries once again to start the car, but it still will not start. Then we see a heavy man named Gilbert, who is standing inside a large drum. He begins moving around. His friends immediately warn him, "Don't move at all. If you fall down, the sand will pull you in." Gilbert laughs and asks, "Are you guys joking with me?" He thinks his friends are just playing a prank on him. After all, he did not see any of the terrifying events with his own eyes. At that time, Gilbert was asleep, and now he was feeling pain from standing inside the drum for so long. That is why he kept moving around. One of the boys tells him, "Someone is coming to help us in 2 hours. We've already called for help. If you stay calm, they'll rescue us." Hearing this, Gilbert agrees to stay still. But the boy was lying. No help was coming. All of them were completely trapped. Then one of Marcia's friends says, "We had a party on this same beach last night. Why didn't the sand attack us then? There were many other people here too. Where did they all go?" That is when they realize the terrible truth. All those people had already been swallowed by the sand. The only reason this group survived was because they had been sleeping on top of objects that kept them off the sand. A little later, Gilbert starts shouting again, "The sun is burning me." One of his friends throws him a bottle of sunscreen and says, "Put this on, it'll help." Gilbert applies it and feels a little better. Then everyone's attention turns to the strange object they found the night before and accidentally damaged. In the darkness, they could not see it clearly, but now in daylight, they realized it was actually an egg, and breaking it had been a huge mistake. Whatever was inside that egg had already escaped. It was very possible that the creature from the egg had entered the sand and was now hunting them. Jonah realizes that sitting around and waiting will not save them. They need to do something themselves. So he grabs a skateboard and carefully rides it across the sand toward a nearby table. As he gets closer, the skateboard starts slipping, and he almost loses his balance. Suddenly, something rises from beneath the sand and touches his stomach. But Jonah refuses to panic. He quickly climbs onto the table. There is a bag on top of it containing some food and supplies. Inside the bag, he finds a banana. However, after eating it, he suddenly throws up. When he looks at his stomach, he notices a wound. The hidden creature in the sand had infected him when it touched him earlier. Everyone becomes terrified, but Jonah tells them, "Don't worry, it's nothing. Just focus on staying alive." Soon the wound starts hurting badly. His condition quickly worsens. Blood begins flowing from the injury. Seeing this, his girlfriend Kaylee starts crying while Jonah lies down in pain. Meanwhile, a girl sitting inside the car remembers something. "Our phones are in the trunk. We need to get them so we can call for help." But nobody wants to take the risk. The trunk cannot be opened from inside the car. Finally, one of the girls volunteers. "I'll do it. She gathers her courage and carefully moves toward the trunk, but it refuses to open. Then a girl named Shonda gives her a piece of wood and tells her to hold on to it tightly so she does not fall into the sand. Even then, she cannot open the trunk. So Kaylee hands her a metal rod and says, "Try using this." At last, the girl manages to open the trunk, but just then, they see a vehicle approaching in the distance. It is the beach supervisor. Everyone turns to look at him. As they get distracted, the girl's fingers become trapped inside the trunk. The trunk suddenly slams shut on her hand. She screams in pain. The others desperately try to guide her back to safety. The supervisor approaches them and sarcastically says that their generation always does stupid things after drinking alcohol. But the group quickly explains that they are in serious trouble. He drives his car closer and starts getting out. Everyone immediately shouts, "Don't step on the sand!" However, when he steps onto the sand, nothing happens to him. First, he goes over to Jonah and is shocked when he sees the wound in his stomach. He then tries to pull the overweight man out of the drum, but the man is so heavy that he can't even move him. The supervisor tells them not to worry and says he'll call his team to rescue them. However, he can't understand what they're even doing out there. Jonah's friend tries to explain the situation and tells him that their friend's fingers are trapped in the trunk of the car. The supervisor walks over but doesn't help her at all. Seeing this, Kelly starts yelling at him. The supervisor walks up to Kelly and asks why she's speaking to him so rudely and what her problem is. Kelly replies, "Can't you see we're in danger? We can't step onto the sand. This sand has already swallowed 2 of our friends." The supervisor laughs and tells them not to joke with him. He points out that he's standing on the sand without any problem and tells them to come down as well. But Jonah's friends refuse because they know it could cost them their lives. Annoyed, the supervisor reaches for his gun. At that moment, his keys slip from his hand and fall onto the sand. Everyone warns him not to pick them up, but he ignores them. As soon as he reaches down to grab the keys, the sand grabs hold of him. The supervisor pulls out his pepper spray and starts spraying the sand, but it doesn't help. The creature beneath the sand devours half of his arm, causing blood to pour everywhere. Everyone panics and starts screaming. Kelly manages to grab the pepper spray from a distance, hoping it might help them fight the creature. Meanwhile, the supervisor is pulled completely into the sand. Within seconds, the sand swallows him whole. Back at the cabin, Jonah's friends finally realize why the supervisor was able to stand on the sand safely. His boots were extremely sturdy and had thick fabric soles. One of the boys tells the others to throw him a towel so he can wrap it around his feet and safely cross the sand. When his friends throw the towel, he accidentally loses his balance and falls. The moment he hits the ground, several thread-like tentacles burst out of the sand. They wrap around his entire body and begin sucking his blood. He screams in agony, and within moments he disappears into the sand just like the others. Terrified, Shonda begins crying with her hands over her ears. Kelly comforts her and says everything will be okay. She asks Shonda to hold a metal grill steady. After placing another grill in position, Kelly jumps down from the elevated cabin and lands on top of the car. As soon as she reaches the car, she slaps Shonda because the trip had been her idea, even though none of this was really Shonda's fault. The 2 girls then work together to free their friend's fingers from the trunk. After a difficult struggle, they finally managed to pull her hand out and wrap a towel around the injury. Meanwhile, the overweight man had been stuck inside the drum for so long that his entire body was in pain. Blood began dripping from his wounds, and as soon as it touched the sand, several tentacles emerged. The creature beneath the sand immediately sensed that humans were nearby. At the same time, the 2 girls connected the cabin grills to create a path leading to the table. Shonda made her way to Jonah, while the girl whose fingers had been trapped in the car trunk told Kelly to leave first. She feared that the blood coming from her injured hand would attract the creature. Kelly safely crossed to the others, and then the injured girl carefully started walking across the makeshift bridge. But suddenly, blood dripped from her hand. She lost her balance, fell onto the sand, and was instantly swallowed by the creature. Back near the drum, the blood from the overweight man's wounds attracted more tentacles. Meanwhile, Shonda wrapped towels around her feet and cautiously walked across the sand. The plan worked, and she safely climbed onto the supervisor's car. The overweight man was relieved, believing they finally had a way out. Unfortunately, he didn't realize that the creature had hollowed out the bottom of his drum. Suddenly, massive tentacles burst out, wrapped around his body, and dragged him beneath the sand, killing him as well. By now, the creature had grown much larger after feeding on so many victims. Its tentacles were stronger than ever. It attacked the supervisor's car and shook it violently, causing Shonda to lose her balance and fall unconscious on the roof. Kelly was now almost completely alone. The remaining survivors were badly injured, and fear began to overwhelm her. As night fell, Shonda regained consciousness and started searching the vehicle for anything that could help them escape. Luckily, she discovered an inflatable life raft. After pressing a button, It automatically filled with air and expanded into a sturdy rubber boat. She lowered the raft and used it to transport Jonah safely back to the car. Just as Kelly was about to climb inside, the creature used its tentacles to slam the car doors shut. The glowing tentacles emitted a strange blue light. Refusing to give up, Kelly climbed onto the roof of the car and found several fuel cans. When the creature grabbed one of them, she quickly grabbed another and poured gasoline around the vehicle. Some of it splashed onto the creature as well. Kelly then set the fuel on fire. The flames spread instantly, burning the creature's tentacles. Writhing in pain, the monster retreated. Kelly quickly locked herself inside the car. Although the creature tried to force the door open, it had become too weak from the fire and eventually disappeared beneath the sand. The night felt endless. Terrified and exhausted, the three survivors fell asleep inside the vehicle. The next morning, someone knocked on the car window. It appeared to be a police officer. When Kelly stepped outside and placed her foot on the sand, nothing happened. Shonda followed her, and the two girls safely left the area. They assumed the creature had died in the fire because the sand was completely still and silent. Sadly, Jonah's wounds had been too severe, and he did not survive. But in the final moments, a shocking truth is revealed. The creature wasn't dead at all. It had simply retreated into the ocean during the night and was now moving toward the city. Its next victims would not be a handful of stranded people, but an entire city. And with that emotional ending, this incredible story finally comes to an end. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing movie stories.